Servus, grüß Gott und hallo, dear international viewers. Welcome back to our second live show this evening, Queer Recipes for Revolution, Brennpunkt Hamburg. Hello, Nina. Nice to have you on my side. That's wonderful that we're doing the second moderation for our second live show here with a wonderful acoustic from the big party next from here.
Yes, from the big demonstrations, in case some of you want to hear some of the atmosphere, we just hold the microphones out a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. So, what we're going to do today, I just have it written down just for reading to our viewers. Dear viewers, today, at the end of this show tonight, we will hear our correspondent Paula Hasenzuckers again. What's it like, G20 summit in Blankenese? Have they heard anything from the things that happened here in the city? Then, we don't have a recipe today because.
Exactly.
Yes, because. Then we have a wonderful pre-recorded interview with Aaron from the Aurora Community Center in Budapest. And Thomas did the interview before. He will come on stage afterwards and we talk about this interview. And then first, now, we have a wonderful guest from a queer place here in Hamburg. And I would say, you make a short introduction to our guest?
Yes,
okay.
I can do that because we were discussing today, just to sort of convey this to you, we were discussing today with everything that has happened throughout this week already, that it's challenging to just continue with the things as we have planned them.
Yeah.
A lot of things are not working out according to plan because the situations change so rapidly.
That was I forgot. Even this didn't work.
No, but
even this didn't work.
That's exactly what the situation does to you, right?
Yes. It is. I'm speechless. That's the truth. I'm speechless of everything that happens in this city. I was touched, affected, and I became speechless because of everything, because of the demonstrations, because of the reactions, because of the pictures. They are so. It's like a flood of pictures and informations, and then I can't sort myself out. What's happening? So. And it's like, during the day I felt like a leaf in the wind. Yes, so that's
right, and I think, it's also good to share that because we don't have answers, we have a lot of questions, and we had a lot of discussions today, and we decided as the editorial team that we want to do the show tonight. I'm very happy that we can do the show tonight because we felt also in these days where the diversity of protests in the city is being delegitimized, their attempts to stop it. We actually went back to what we originally wanted to do with this show, and that's what we would like to share with you. Because originally what we wanted to do is we really aim to amplify the voices of queer resistance around the world, those who are challenging different forms of oppression, with their intersections. We wanted to amplify these voices and tune down the voices of those in privileged positions. We want to provide a space to narrate these stories of hope and also to narrate these stories of strength and also these stories who refuse to accept oppressive power structures. And when we were looking for words today, we actually went back to exactly what I just told you, because that was our invitation that we usually sent out when we had requests for the interviews.
Yes.
So we are very, very happy to have a guest tonight in the show who we feel also provides this inspiration and different ways of seeing the world that is so necessary in these days where some people just want to see the world in a one-dimensional way. So we are very, very happy to have Sai with us tonight. Sai, please come to the stage.
Yes.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Nice to have you here today.
It is our pleasure and privilege. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight, Sai. We wanted to talk to you about a space. There's a space for queer people to meet here during these days of protest, and we were wondering whether you can tell us a little bit about this space.
Yeah, we had the feeling that there's a strong need for places for people to meet and organize themselves, because in this town where the situation is rather challenging, let's say, because of the huge amount of repression which was announced beforehand, that we need to provide spaces where people just can come to get provided with food and drinks, with information, where there's a quiet space where you can just hang out and sleep, or there's even first aid, which is sadly needed a lot. And it's a huge organizational structure, and we were also thinking beforehand, should we set up these spaces, because there are so many people who need to be there to run it. It's more than 10 persons which are necessary to just be there and keep the place safe, because this is hardly possible, and it's a huge amount of resources which get sucked into it, but still it's possible. Yeah, are you telling me to speak louder? What are you telling me? Hello, camera. Hello, people out there. It's incredible to be here inside this really calm and quiet place with nice people.
So you were talking about the structure. It's a collective, right?
It's a bunch of people which just gathered around the strong need. Actually, it's not a group which was working together beforehand. It's just people who consider themselves as queer activists for a long or a short time, people who didn't know each other beforehand. They just came together and met and started to work on it, to try to figure out what are the needs of people who come into the city, because we expected and hoped for a lot of people to join us in our protests against the summit. And we wanted to help people from other places to come to a place to be able to find each other, or to find people who have similar interests, similar experiences, similar ways, similar activism, consent. Yeah.
And there are several things you have to look at. For example, we talked before, so you said, what can we do with access, with people maybe in wheelchairs or something like that, for example?
Yeah, people took care of a lot of things. They even managed to get a rental toilet, which is accessible for wheelchairs, because these places hardly exist in Hamburg for activists from abroad. And we thought a lot about languages. What can we do for translation? We had a color system for languages which you're fluently speaking, which you just can help out with questions, or which you are able to translate in meetings. And we also thought about organizing places to sleep for people who have no money and are not able to rent a hotel room. And yeah.
So that kind of accessibility translates in a variety of things. And I think, can you say even more about that? You mentioned a couple of things, but
I think, I try to concentrate on the
it's hard.
necessary.
It's really hard.
Right, yeah. Everyone is working hard on networking. This is networking too, yes, with you now. It's really nice. And networking also is a huge part of this place, because even to gather the information which is just coming through all the Twitter accounts, to gather all the leaflets, to gather the legal aid, to just have enough material for the first aid people, to gather the food. People are not... even the people running around on bicycles trying to get the food from here to there where it's needed, and then taking care of the people who arrive with their bicycles really stressed out because of the things they had to manage on their way to get through. And yes.
Yeah, you, me. We heard it through the lines about the political position. You said we gathered around topics and themes, or what we want to do. We are queer activists. Can you tell us a little bit more about the political position of it?
Yes, I would love to.
We thought you never ask.
Well, because there are a lot of places like this in Hamburg existing, and there are each of these places is doing great work. But we still thought it's necessary to have a special queer place because it can attract people who, how do we say? I mean, queer is a funny thing. Some people receive queer just as the people having glitter on their face, being the funny crowd on parties, and you're really happy to see them, but you don't really know what this queer thing is about. Because queer is not just me being happy on a party, but it's a political positioning, and I would love to just hang out on parties and be happy all the time, but it is not possible in the society we live in.
Yes.
Because many of my friends don't have the privilege as I do to be white and quite educated, because they have to confront racism, they have to confront denied access to opportunities to educate themselves because of money. They get denied opportunity to travel because they don't have the legal papers. They get denied opportunity for medical treatment because they are born in a certain kind of body which is really working in this society. So we thought we need a queer place where people can struggle together against the oppression system, which says, well, I will talk for a little while now. I'm sorry, but it's a complicated society,
yes.
And there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do because we have this binary system of the different gender positionings. If people are male and female, everything's fine, but many people are not, and they face, well, a different life. And I had a really funny conversation today at this queer space with a white cis male friend of mine who comes from a smaller town, and he told me, wow, it's the first time in my life that I really don't feel as part of the majority right now. And I was like, welcome to my world. This is what I'm experiencing every day. It's nice to have this conversation. And because people have to face different problems if you have some kind of any part of this, well, yeah, it's a mixture. Well, you have the background you come from, and you have maybe a different gender positioning, you have maybe different desires than a majority of the society. You feel at the margins and you have to struggle for your life. Well, this is one part. Then you have a society which is oppressing people and putting them into hierarchies, usually in form of nice binaries which are easy to grasp for capitalistic structures like good and bad, like black and white, like male and female. And this is a really strong system we have to work on, because in the end, still capitalism sucks. And this is what we are having to fight here, also, and which we want to protest against in this G20 summit craziness, where you have just this looting and rioting on the street, and you ask yourself, well, is this what I came for? But still, yes. There's, what shall we do?
And I think there at the demonstration, there was also a banner yesterday, Queers for System Change. Maybe you want to say one or two more things about that, if you think you could also relate to a banner like that.
I mean, queer is a radical position, and it has, system change. Of course, the system we live in is really unjust and terrible and violent right now, and we have to change it. And maybe queer really shares a lot of positions with traditional left radical views, but still we want to put our different views on the same level. Like, I have to fight racism, at the same time I have to fight sexism, at the same time I have to fight classism. I can't put it into a hierarchy, but I have to fight the whole network at once. Can I make myself clear? Please ask.
Yes, absolutely. You did.
I think that was very, very
Yes.
clear.
That
was very clear to emphasize the intersectionality of issues, to say it's not, you don't just focus on one thing, you focus on things simultaneously and look at their interconnectedness and how they influence each other. And I think that queer spaces, as you have described it, also create spaces for communication to discuss exactly those kinds of things. Have you had a lot of inspiring discussions like that in the last days?
Yes, I did. I met a lot of interesting people, and it was really, well, still we could enjoy each other in a way, to share experiences, to share views, to share opinions of all the different views and experiences people have, because this is the power we have, or this is our treasure to value everyone and what everyone brings with themselves into our struggle. Whatever it is, even if it's just a cake, or if it's a land bicycle, or if it's, I don't know, a phone call on Monday.
And as you have said, people bring things into the struggle. I also saw today that people can take things away, not only from the inspiring conversations, but I also saw at the queer space that there's a food concept. You cannot only eat there, but if you're going to demonstrations, you can also take stuff with you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, this is just magic. The way all these food people, like magic, how these kitchens still are able to work under these conditions, and how a lot of donated food just gets spread everywhere. And we really had to enforce people, please take more with you, because we do have too much. And this is great, and I'm so grateful for all the activist work which is just happening right now. And it's not just the people you can see on the really sometimes amazing, sometimes terrible videos which are online, but there's a lot of unseen, let's say, reproductional work which is happening all the time.
And I think we can close the loop to queer recipes for revolution, in the sense what I was really impressed with today is that there's also a box for demonstration food.
Yes, and you get a little paper thing where you can put your food inside, and you get also fresh fruit, and anarchists are the best cooks.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, thank you for this insight, for this. It was just like yesterday, a lot of the day before yesterday, informations and insight, and to me it was like the feeling of there's going on something good.
Yes.
And that is
yes.
There's going on something good, and that is what helps me to put away the pictures I've seen today.
Yeah, focus on the problems, but on the way we find solutions, because people are very creative and powerful and great.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to come and join your insights with us. Thank you very, very much for that. And thank you for, in an undercover way, introducing a queer recipe for a revolution to us tonight. Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you.
Thank you. So, find an anarchist to cook for you or with you for the next days.
Indeed, you just got a recommendation. They are the best cooks, definitely.
Yeah. So that was very empowering, I have to say this.
Thank you.
So the next point is we have pre-recorded an interview with an activist from Budapest. And now we just like to have Thomas here for a little Q&A before we see this interview. Hello, Thomas. It's for you.
Good evening, dear. Hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thomas, you did an interview with Aaron from the Aurora Community Center yesterday. Can you just tell us a little bit about the situation of the interview and what was your original idea to interview Aaron?
To go a bit in the past, last year I was in Budapest at the Budapest Pride, And we tried to connect with a lot of people in Budapest, not only queer people, but people who are working in art, culture, stuff, who are mostly also social engaged and who are working because you can't think to do free art and culture stuff in Budapest without working with the civil rights and the actual current situation in Budapest. And last year we met people from Aurora, which is a space for a community center, a space for events, a space for a lot of things, but I want to blab too much before we will see the interview. Yeah. We met these people from Aurora, and I'm very honored that I had this interview with them yesterday. It was, I think, not yesterday, 2 days ago. It was a cold start for us. It was a cold start for the technical situation here at the FC Media Center too, I think, and it's great. Now it's working, and it's a great work. What happens here at this moment at the Media Center? Thank you for this.
Yes, thank you very, very much for that.
And today we are able to show you the interview, and I would say we have a look in the interview and we can talk a bit more about it after the interview. So, Sia Aaron, you are part of the Culture and Community Center Aurora in Budapest, which is an important spot for contemporary cultural life as well as social and civil society activism. It's a space for events, but also the home for many NGOs. Among others, the organization group of the Budapest Pride, which currently takes place this week with the Pride March on Saturday, same time as the protests to the G20 summit here in Hamburg. Can you tell us a bit more about your place and its meaning for the current situation in Hungary?
Yes, it's a bit about Aurora. It's in the middle of the street. It's in Budapest.
Oh, you are very silent at the moment. Please wait.
Okay. Now? Probably a bit louder. Shall I get closer?
Yeah, I think that this is better when you are closer.
Let me adjust the camera then. So how about now?
Yeah, super. Perfect. Thanks.
So Aurora is a mixture of a lot of things. First of all, it's a very important cultural center for youngsters from all over the world, but mainly from Budapest. And it's also a so-called NGO hub, which means that we provide platform, infrastructure, services and discounts for local movements in Budapest in the 8th district, and for NGOs taking care of other people who are in need. And our focus is to mix these things and to give the possibility to the NGOs to work in peace, to work without disturbance, in a comfortable platform and building, and to give other people the possibility to get an insight to the work of these very important NGOs. Because at the moment, the political atmosphere in Hungary is, it's taken a very wrong direction. You may have heard about the Lex NGO, which is almost the same policy implemented in Turkey or in Russia, which means that if any NGO gets funding from abroad that is identified as a foreign agent NGO since the Lex NGO. And actually, there are a few NGOs here who are under this policy. And so in this political atmosphere, when the government and the propaganda is taking a raid on the civil society, and taking a raid on the NGO sector, on those people, those human beings who are dedicating their life to helping others, I think it's crucial to have such places in a society like Aurora, like what we do here.
And the new law to the NGOs is also referring to the protests in spring for the CEU, for the Central University, European University, because it's financed by Soros.
Yes.
This is Open Source Foundation.
Yeah, Open Society Foundation.
Yeah. Open Society Foundation, sorry. So, do you were involved in the protests in spring?
Yes, we were involved in some of the protests because there was a. Shall I start again?
Yeah.
Okay. So there were a huge series of protests in the spring of 2017 in Budapest because of the Lex NGO, because of the Lex CEU, and because of several anti-democratic law amendments and policies the government implemented since then. And there were several other cases. So, for example, a journalist was kicked and grabbed by a Fidesz politician a few months ago. So there were like a series of protests because of many things. But there was something, and there is something in the air that it's, you know, people are fed up with what's happening here. And we were involved in some of the protests. We have started a movement called "We Shall Not Remain Silent," and the message is the movement is that if you are a conscious citizen, if you are someone who's taking care about what's happening around us, then you should raise your voice anytime you see or hear something what you don't like and what you think that takes this country and this society to the wrong direction. And one of the protests which we organized was the first "We Shall Not Remain Silent" protest. Was about this topic. And since we are mainly cultural organizers and people working on the field of culture and arts and music, we decided to raise our voice, with the message of peace, the strength of the community, and having fun and laughing at the face laughing at the ugly-faced power.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and at the moment you got some problems in Aurora because last week on Wednesday the local municipality suspended the trade license, which threatens the existence of Aurora. Selling beverages and food is an important source of income, as I know, to finance the space. It's about 80%, you say. And how did it happen? How did you deal with the restrictions of the authorities?
Okay. So a few weeks ago, the local government, in cooperation with the police, they have made up a case against Aurora, and there was a police raid in the house where they have prosecuted 15 people because of a small amount of marijuana, and they are referring to a law which makes it possible to suspend the trading license. But many of our legal advisors and actually all of the lawyers who saw the case, saw the official papers, they were either crying or laughing because it's totally against the law, and it's totally, playing out legal policies and laws. So it's a classic case of red taping that they have made here. And in the exact same time, they have even closed our garden. Because we have a bar inside and we have a garden outside, and the closure of the garden, they are referring to the size of the buildings that they have, suspended our license because of the size of the buildings, but it never came up before. So we had a working license. We could sell alcohol and food, and beverages, and it never came up before, and they have suspended our license. So the interesting part of the story is that, when they gave our license to the garden, because they had to, just one day after, they have sent the police to the place to find something, anything, from which they could make up a case like this. So it's the classic case of red taping.
Okay, it was one day after the opening of the garden that I didn't know before.
Exactly.
Your current situation. Last year I was at Aurora during the Budapest Pride. People have painted banners and slogans for the Pride March, but especially it was also a place where people from Budapest and international visitors could meet and relax in the yard of your place. And we all know how important eating and drinking is when people come together or going to make a revolution. So this is one of the reasons why we call it our stream. It's a FC Media Center, Queer Recipes for Revolution. So we are wondering how you manage these days and actually what is the mood at Aurora. Is it allowed to drink something?
That's the question.
Hmm?
So after the police raid and after the local government took our license, from the bar we had so after the police raid and after they have suspended our licenses, sorry. So the bar provided 80% of our income, which helped us and provided the possibility to us to run the non-profit part of the project, to support the NGOs who are working here, and to finance the cultural events and shows and concerts. And since then, since we lost 80% of our income, we had to figure out a way, how to keep the place running and how to make it sustainable. So we made two things. First of all, we have appealed. We have appealed against this totally unlawful procedure. And in the second hand, we have started a huge fundraising campaign. We are.
Oh, you are frozen. There was at the last sentence there was something with the connection. You were frozen.
Okay. I will start again. Sorry, sir. Wait a moment. Just wait a sec.
It was just a moment you talked about the donation campaign.
Yes, they get cut it. And we also started a huge donation and a huge fundraising campaign and asked our guests, our supporters, and basically everyone in our network. And since we received a very strong spotlight and very strong press presence and coverage on the topic of Aurora in the past days, we could spread this information in a huge network. And website. And I also ask anyone who's watching me at the moment to check out Aurora's website and to check our story and help us to keep it sustainable if possible. On the one hand, you can spread the message and share our fundraising campaign. On the other hand, you can donate us to keep it sustainable.
I think we will show it in the live stream in a few hours at 10 o'clock. So, one of my next question is regarding to Marom, which is the organization that is running Aurora as a space. Marom is an organization for young Jews with the aim to support Jewish and Zionist identity. So my question is, what sparked the formation of the Budapest group? Can you tell us a bit more about the inception and the idea of the group?
Yeah. Just off the record, because it's very important, that the first attribute of Marom is not Zionist. It's the first attribute of Marom is plainly progressive Judaism and the reinterpretation of Judaism and Jewish culture. So just end of the story.
Okay.
But yeah, Marom is a youth Jewish organization which has a lot of projects. But in the past few years, since the political atmosphere has changed in Hungary, Marom is mainly focusing on equality and social responsibility, and we have a very strong connection with NGOs. And still, there is a very important part of Marom, which is Dor Hadash, which is the Jewish religious part of Marom. And they are also organizing festivals and events. And the main goal of Marom is to reinterpret the roots of the Jewish culture and to reach out to Jewish Hungarian youngsters that they can live with the Jewish culture and they can spread the Jewish culture, because I don't want to dig deeply into historical facts and historical processes, but the Jewish society in Hungary at the moment is hidden, and that's the part of Hungarian society, and we need to show the values, and we need to show the values of the cultures, the minorities, and that's why we are focusing on Jewish culture. That's why we are focusing on Gypsy culture. That's why we are focusing and working with NGOs, who are fighting for the rights of minorities. So when it comes to LGBT rights, when it comes to taking care of homeless people or marginalized groups of the society, Aurora is there, and Aurora is open for everyone, because that's what we do. We provide platform for people and for NGOs who are helping other people and who are showing the important parts, different cultures, and that we can live together in the society.
So it's a lot of hidden cultures, as you said. To go to the current situation in Hamburg and the protests here, what kind of relevance does the group of G20 have for you in your context? Is it in any way, is it in any case important for you?
So, since Hungary is not a member of the G20 summit, and the press coverage is not so strong about that event in Hungary. And since Hungary is a small state at the border of the European Union, the relevance and the existence of the topic in Hungary is not so strong. And it's important to know that we will have the elections next year. So at the moment, everything is thematized around the elections and what's happening in domestic political field. So at the moment, G20 is it's not the first thing. Because the whole society and the media and the news are focusing on the elections and domestic problems and domestic social and political issues. So it's like kind of we have a border.
So when you would protest in Hamburg at this moment, what will be on your banner? How would it look like?
Our banner would look like this. There would be 3 words on it, which is shout, fight, and peace.
Cool. And perhaps at least, because our stream is clear recipes for revolution, do you want to share a favorite recipe with us?
A recipe? Yeah, sure, of course. From my perspective and from our perspective, is that the main thing right now, and not just in Hungary, but in every society, because populism, and the right wing is strengthening, and the propaganda and fake news are just spreading everywhere. And what normal people and conscious citizens can do at the moment is that stand up, form networks, form communities, work together, and convince the majority about what you think is right and do what you think is right. But the most important part is keeping the communities together, and spreading the truth, spreading information, and doing what you think is right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Alan, köszönöm.
Nagyon szívesen. Thanks for checking us in the protest. So it's very important for us, to tell lots of people what's happening here, what's our perspective. So yeah. So thank you.
Okay. Goodbye and greetings to all the people I know in Budapest, and much of power and love for you, for your project, for the next days. It's Budapest wide. We will see us soon. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay. And for tonight, with a load.
Okay.
Cheers.
You speak so wonderfully English and said Budapest. I love this.
Yeah, because it's the Hungarian spell.
Yeah, it's true. You have a few words now for us after this interview.
Okay, I think at the moment it's really important to donate money for Aurora, that they can continue their work at their place, that they can pay the rent, and that they can continue to do all their great projects, that the NGOs in the community center Aurora can work, can do their work, and yeah, I hope that we got a bit your interest and to continue to have a look what's going on in Budapest the next days and weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you very, very much, Thomas. And as Aaron has said, please spread the message. That is very, very important. Thank you for doing the interview and for spreading exactly that kind of message. Thank you.
Thank you. So, take it. Well, Even my Sprachcenter is disturbed.
That's right, exactly.
Yes.
Difficult to find the connections, therefore.
It's crazy. We're standing here since more than an hour, and the whole time there's a helicopter above us, which is very disturbing, but no complaint. There are regions in this world where it's every day for years. So this is necessary. The next thing is, we're calling our correspondent Paula Hasenzucker. She still is in the western suburbs of Hamburg, and now we like to know from her, what's it like to be there? The last time I phoned her, I asked her, what's it like to be in Hobbingen? And now we want to see if Mordor is coming over to Blankenese. So I hope we will get her. So again, our little sign, Paula Hasenzucker, here she comes. And you have to guide me so that it's good sound.
We will turn it down.
And where do I speak here?
Hello.
Hello, Paula. This is us, Queer Recipes for Revolution.
Hey, revolution, that's what's on the street today, isn't it?
I didn't get that again.
Revolution, that is what is on the streets today.
Yes, on your streets too.
Well, not really. But many people here, I'm in a tiny garden area, where people from St. Pauli also have their small gardens. And normally they wouldn't stay here like during the week.
Okay.
But now everybody who came through the city and didn't have to make a U-turn because of blockades came to here, and they all like telling their stories from how it is at St. Pauli and at Altena and wherever they were.
Okay.
So there's much talking about G20 here in Blankenese.
Okay. So, and did you get into the city, or did you stay in the garden resort today?
No, I went shopping, and well, you have to. You can really say that people here stay calm, and you have more talking about like the quality of the food than about G20. And even when today the cars were burning, you didn't get very much of a wave here, like people talking more about G20.
Okay. So, is there anything you want to tell us? Because I'm running out of questions, because I think this is a gap. We are here in a really loud situation, and we're knowing that there are barricades burning, and you have cozy neighborhood and fresh vegetables there in Blankenese.
Well, yes, I can tell you that yesterday I saw like the Trump helicopters flying over here.
Okay.
And then I saw one of the helicopters, which looked like from the TV serial MASH. I don't know if you know that, but like one of these helicopters, which looked like a turned around phone receiver. And it was as deep down that I could see the doors of it. And that was really frightening, because I only know these helicopters from pictures of the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And it felt like completely surreal to sit in the garden area and have a helicopter above you.
Okay. Well, I hope I hope you will stay safe the next days too. We want to phone you again tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope you stay safe.
Yes, we just went to Budnikovsky the last half hour, kind of. So we have everything we need.
Okay.
So thank you very much for this insight of the outside, so to say. Everything,
okay,
the best for you. Bye, Paula.
Bye-bye, Paula. Bye.
Bye.
So, that was our correspondent from Blankenese. And as you can see, helicopters are there too. Fine.
Yes, and I think it was quite striking that you can be in one city, but it can be different cities. Yes. And while we are here focusing also on everything that is going on around us and in the streets, you have already mentioned it, Blessless, there's a whole world outside, and we just wanted to let you know we plan to do an interview with our queer friends in Tacloban in the Philippines for tomorrow. Yes. And I don't know if you have seen the news, but the province of Leyte, where Tacloban is based, has been hit by a 6.9 magnitude earthquake. And that means that there's a region-wide power cut for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And the person we wanted to talk to sent a message and said, I'm so sorry, but there will be no strong internet connection to do that. What we were planning to do is Tacloban was also the ground zero of Typhoon Haiyan, or how it's locally known, Typhoon Yolanda. That is the strongest typhoon that ever made landfall. And within a couple of hours, more than 10,000 people were killed. And Tacloban today is a really creative, really buzzing space where the different communities connect. It's a lot about intersectionality and connecting the different struggles. They had their first gay pride there this year, and we wanted to ask them about the different ways of rebuilding something in a new and visionary way. So the mayor of Tacloban originally said we want to build the city back better, but they really enlarged what building back better means and are reclaiming public space, spaces to organize, spaces to protest, and connecting all the different struggles. And we just want to say to our friends also in the Philippines that we are thinking of you, that our hearts are going out to you in this moment, and that we hope you continue to be safe and look after yourselves.
Yes. So that was one part we have to cancel due to very catastrophic problems there, and we have 2 other ideas that we wanted to present to you, to other countries, guests from Iraq and from Russia. So, and we are still not sure yet if we can do so, because we just talked about safety and unsecurity at the beginning of our show, and our guests have not so safe spaces or statuses, so we have to watch out if we can invite them here in the show. And so I'm not sure if we can say this will happen tomorrow. We will see tomorrow if it will happen in the evening, the next show.
Yes, and we will try our best that the show can happen tomorrow. What will definitely happen tomorrow is the Pride in Budapest. And we also want to say hello to our friends in Budapest and let them know that we are standing in solidarity with you tomorrow also, and wish you a really inspiring Pride March tomorrow.
Yes. Greetings to Budapest. So, and what we experience here in the media center, in the city, in the queer spaces is community, and nothing could happen. This couldn't have happened without friends and without help. And so we want to say thank you to a lot of people, and I will read them down in a quick countdown, kind of. Thank you to the FCMC and all those who work here. Thanks to Ulf and Thomas. Thanks to Katja, and thanks to Georg and Jakob. Thanks to Wiebke, Christina. Thanks to Hanseatische Materialverwertung. Thanks to Danny, Sai and Aaron. Thanks to our friends and family. Thanks to Eleni and Birgit. And thanks to Carsten and Gerda. Thank you all so much that this could have happened today and hopefully tomorrow. So,
yes, thank you all for tuning in, and stay safe and listen to all these different and inspiring voices of protest around the world that we also hear if we listen closely enough. Thank you very much.
Then Nina and I would say goodbye for the night.
Bye-bye.
Queer Recipes goes into
a night shift.
A night shift, so to say. So bye.
Bye-bye.